Welcome to the Jaguar Podcast, a show where we discuss all things related to Duval County's finest NFL football team, the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Move 42, set, fight!
Duval, baby!
What's good, everybody? It's Andrew coming back at you with another episode of the Jaguar Podcast. In today's episode, I'm going to be discussing the news of former Eagles head coach Doug Pederson being hired by the Jaguars as their new head coach. So let's get into it. But before I start, quick shout out to one of our affiliates and partners, flteams.com, a Florida-based sports website. They do all things coverage and content on Florida sports teams, and I put my content up there as well. It's a great website. It's flteams.com. I'll put a link in the video description. Okay, so last Saturday, it was announced that Doug Pederson would be, or will be, the new head coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars. There was a big press conference that was held. Shad Khan, Doug Pederson, and Trent Baalke, took some questions from the press, and it was kind of interesting because beat reporter Gene Fournette, he threw Shad Khan a little curveball question on their hiring process. So let's take a listen to this.
Gene Fournette, sports columnist from the Florida Times-Union, for Shad. At any point during this process, did you offer the job to any other candidate, and for whatever reason, that did not work out?
We had a process, Gene. And we ran the process, and we had great candidates. But Doug is our guy.
Okay, so we can all tell that Shad was giving a BS answer there. There's no way that Doug Pederson was their guy all along. That's total crap. We all know it. There's no way that could have been possible because Doug was interviewed. I think he was like one of the first candidates or group of candidates interviewed in the process that I think was like 40 days long. So that's just total BS. And Shad kind of dances around the question, and you just know he's not being truthful with it or with that answer. So I'm not buying it at all. And I was a little disappointed by the Jaguars hiring Doug Pederson in the sense that I feel like we could have cleaned off some of this stench from the Chris Doyle hiring, this foolish hiring by the Jaguars and Urban Meyer. Chris Doyle, for those who don't know, was a strength and conditioning coach from Iowa that was accused of racial discrimination or being a racist against some of the Iowa football players. There was this big settlement. He was paid out $1 million. And then the Jaguars hired him for like a minute, and then he was let go because Urban Meyer said he would be a distraction. Like, no shit, Sherlock, right? But anyways, I felt like we could have cleaned off some of that stench by hiring maybe Brian Flores or Jim Caldwell or Byron Leftwich, who we all thought that we were going to hire, and then we didn't end up hiring. So that was disappointing. But, overall, guys, I think Doug Pederson is a good hire. I mean, looking at his background, he was a Super Bowl winning coach with the Philadelphia Eagles. They beat the Patriots. I believe that was in 2018. And then the next year, they almost went to the Super Bowl again, barely missed there in the playoffs. And, Doug Pederson was a NFL quarterback himself, played for a variety of different teams. I believe it was, the Dolphins, the Eagles, the Packers, and actually won a Super Bowl, I believe, with the Packers when they had Brett Favre. I believe they beat the Patriots. And so that's really cool. I mean, he's got a lot of experience. His record as a head coach, he's 42-37-1. So winning record. And I think he's going to bring a lot of experience to the Jaguars organization, being a former player and quarterback and also a coach. And, he was an assistant, I think, with our offensive coordinator with Kansas City Chiefs, and an assistant in a couple of other places, but has a lot of experience as a coach. And I think he's going to be a good culture guy. I mean, honestly, anybody could be a better culture guy than Urban Meyer. I mean, it was just an utter disaster. He left us in shambles just with all the scandals and drama going on. So I think, that will not be as big of a problem with Doug Pederson. And I think he's really going to help Trevor Lawrence a lot and, bring some of that experience, like I said, of, Doug Pederson being a quarterback and also a coach. He's going to bring a lot of valuable knowledge to Trevor Lawrence. And he's really going to help him excel, I think. I think you're going to see just a drastic difference next season with Trevor Lawrence. If he could stay healthy, I think you see much better play from Trevor Lawrence. But the big problem here with still having a good coach like Doug Pederson is this guy, Mr. Potato Head, Trent Baalke. He's going to be a big roadblock for Doug Pederson. It's going to be an uphill battle, still having him in the front office and, having his hands on personnel decisions and draft choices. So I think it's going to be a uphill battle for Doug. Trent's been terrible with draft picks. He's been terrible with personnel decisions for the Jaguars. I don't need to go through that. You guys know it. So I think that's really going to be a challenge for Doug. I think there is risk of Doug being potentially a 3-and-out coach, 3 years and out, just because, Trent's going to fight for control. And you just can't be successful unless you have a clean slate, in my opinion, with the Jaguars. And Shad Khan did not do that for whatever reason. So yeah, it's really frustrating, but I think Doug can be successful. I'm rooting for him. I'm a fan of him, and I want him to be successful at the end of the day, regardless. I said even with Urban Meyer, and I was against that hire, that I was rooting for him as a Jaguars fan. I wanted him to be successful. Unfortunately, that didn't happen like I predicted, but I hope Doug Pederson is successful. I hope the Jaguars start playing better and hopefully get to a playoff and hopefully win the Super Bowl as well. But what do you guys think? Do you think Doug Pederson was a good hire? Let me know how you feel. Leave me a comment on the YouTube video or podcast episode. Subscribe to the channel. As always, guys, stay safe, stay sane, stay healthy. Go Jags, and I'll see you next time.
Let me get that. JYD coming up with the big sack. Quarterbacks beware, we on the prowl. Game day night, you could hear it in our growl. Intimidation on to keep their hearts racing. Meeting other teams live on TV front of the nation. Spectacular defensive scheme.
This episode is available on the Jaguar Podcast YouTube channel. So if you stop by, make sure to subscribe and give this video a like. Also, these episodes are available on iTunes, Podbean, Spotify, SoundCloud, Stitcher, and other major podcast distributors as well. So if you don't mind, please leave me a review and some feedback. I'd really appreciate that. If you'd like to connect with me on social media, my Twitter handle is @JagwarPodcast. I'm also on Facebook and Instagram. This is Andrew signing off. Cheers.